Robert Mueller, the former Assistant Secretary General at the UN. And it's this, quote, "We have brought the world together as far as we can politically. To bring about a true world government, the world must be brought together spiritually. What we need is a united nations of religions." So the people in power and the people working in worldly united organizations such as the United Nations, trying to set up one world government, one world currency, one world religion, are even mentioning this. Now let's look at some of these things that Pope Francis is doing. First, let's go to what he's done in the wide open. I made a video on this a little while ago. Pope Francis meets with one of the head imams of Sunni Islam, Sheikh Ahmed Al-Tayeb, and they met and they signed a declaration saying that Pope Francis put his signature on a document that said that God created all of the religions out of his wisdom. The New Age, one world type of religion that is going to be set up right before us. All religions are allowed, all religions are in one group, except those who actually follow the Bible for what it actually says and taking it literally. So Pope Francis signs this declaration of peace with this imam, saying that God created all of the religions out of his wisdom. As we know, that's complete nonsense. Nobody who is a follower of Jesus Christ would say that there's any other way to heaven except through Jesus. That's what the Bible explicitly says. This person leading, let's see, I have the number pulled up here, 1.2 billion Roman Catholics. That's as of March 14th, 2013. 1.2 billion people saying that there's multiple ways into heaven, that God created all of the religions out
That's
a
lie.
His wisdom. That's completely anti-biblical and completely anti-Christ. Here he is giving the imam a kiss.
The only way to heaven is through Jesus.
Absolutely disgusting.
And the only way to his Father
let's move on to what
is
just
through
happened
Jesus.
recently. Here on March 11, 2019, Pope meets with Mormon leadership in Rome, supposedly to dedicate the temple. A few short paragraphs here I'll read. This is from the Vatican City AP. It says, Pope Francis met Saturday, March 9th with the leadership of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormon Church. The first such meeting of its kind, on the eve of the dedication of the church's huge new temple in Rome. The Vatican offered no details of Francis's audience with the church president, Russell Nelson, and other leaders. The Latter-day Saints said it was the first ever meeting between a pope and the head of their church, and it said that the two men discussed religion, liberty, family, and youth, and among other topics. Sure, they did talk about the youth. We have much in common, Nelson tweeted afterward. The differences in doctrine are real, and they're very important, but they're not.
Mary is not God.
We have in common. This is what the youth and liberty. Come on, give me a break. Nelson and the 14 elders who make up the leadership of the church, widely known as the Mormons, are in town for the dedication Sunday of their new temple. The lush complex features an oval-shaped marble house of worship. And whatever, doesn't really matter. The Latter-day Saints said the visit to Rome was the first time their entire leadership had gathered outside of the U.S. So we have Pope Francis meeting with the one of the grand imams. We have Pope Francis meeting with the leaders of the Mormon Church. The leader of the Mormon Church,
God help us all.
He calls himself a prophet, by the way, which is a complete joke. He's a false prophet by every means of the definition.
Pope Francis is the false prophet. Pope Francis is the false prophet.
In front of everybody's eyes. Setting up the one world
He's
religion
evil.
Is what he is doing. Somebody who has 1.2 billion followers, you can guarantee that number's larger now, will definitely be a player in the game in setting up a one world religion. Absolutely 100%. Why don't we just read Revelation 13 right now? Verses 11 through 15. It says, Then I saw another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb and spoke like a dragon. And he exercises all the authority of the first beast.
That's in Revelation 13, verse 11, verse 15.
So that he even makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And he deceives those who dwell on the earth by those signs which he was granted to do in the sight of the beast, telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image of the beast who was wounded by the sword and lived. He was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, and that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. Now we know that worship alone is dedicated towards a god of some sort, Worshipping is when you give honor to a god. That's what worship is. Everybody will have to worship the image or the beast.
I'm not worshiping nobody except for Jesus and God.
15, and we know this will come to pass as all the other prophecies have come to pass, and as well as in 12. Again,
I'm prepared to die for Jesus.
The authority of the first beast in his presence and causes the earth
I made myself prepared.
To worship the first beast.
Because something big's gonna come.
So
something really big is coming. I can feel it. See, he's the false prophet, Pope Francis. People say he's the Antichrist. He's not the Antichrist. He's just a false prophet. He's just doing the Antichrist's work right now.
I mean, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. No one goes to the Father except through Jesus Christ.
Amen.
That's the only way to God, and that's the bottom line, because that's what the Bible says.
Amen.
Here's, well, we have Pope Francis, who, by the way, they call the Holy Father, which is an absolute joke. And first off, let me remind people, in case they're unaware, that this imam that Francis is giving a kiss here on the lips to came out and said that he believes that people who
Revelation 13, one world religion,
Islamic faith should be murdered. The video's on YouTube. You can find it. He calls for the death of people who defect to Islam. That's that man's fruit. But we have the Vatican officially releasing a Chrislam logo for Pope Francis on it.
This bridge right here represents the secret to making money online. Let me show you what I mean. All e-commerce stores need customers.
It's on his upcoming Servant of Hope tour to the Muslim nation of Morocco. This article, which I will leave below along with the other ones, says that the official logo of the Pope's visit was chosen from about 50 entries in a competition. An explanatory note accompanying the logo's release is that a cross and a crescent in the logo are symbols of Christianity and Islam, which
do not worship the beast, people. You won't get to heaven that way.
Trip, Pope Francis will meet the leader of the Moroccan Muslims 800 years after the meeting between Saint Francis of Assisi and the Sultan al-Malik al-Kamil of Egypt. So that's just the absolute joke that's going on. Now, if faiths get together and they want to discuss, or at least say, hey,
Pope Francis is setting up the Revelation 13 one world religion.
But to do something like put a cross and the
54,562 people.
And it's insanity.
The views.
The fact that this would even go on is absolutely insane. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with meeting and just discussing, and what a real Christian would do would present the gospel to these people so he can...
Mary is not God.
But instead, we see the merging of the religions, saying that it's okay that we come together. We worship the same God. You believe this?
One world religion, people. Watch it. We're all going to be persecuted. We're all going to be put to death to believe in Jesus.
And so, yes, this image up on the screen with the cross and the crescent moon of Islam, that's the interfaith merging of Christianity, well, not even Christianity, of Catholicism and Islam together in one. That's what we're seeing being set up. I mean, Francis is doing a lot of work lately to try to merge Catholicism and Islam, as well as meeting behind closed doors and having secret meetings with the Mormon Church. He's setting up Revelation 13, guarantee with 1.whatever billion people they've got
coming,
right now,
the one world religion. Believe it or not, Pope Francis is setting up the Revelation 13 one world religion.
All these people will already be working together, believing they follow the same God, and then when they find and believe that the Antichrist, when they believe that the Antichrist is God, then they will just give their allegiance to him.
The Antichrist ain't God. The only worship I'm going to do is God in heaven. That's the only person I'm going to worship and bow down to, in Jesus.
I found this interesting as well and wanted to mention that on February 4th...
People just ain't waking it up.
2018, that's when this article was published and updated, talking about a Hillsong Church conference in Phoenix called the Alpha Conference. This was in 2018, where part of this supposedly Christian conference that Hillsong's supposed to be, supposedly Christian, there's supposedly a Christian church and make Christian music, but we see many flaws in their theology and the things that they do and say. But they had a Catholic